everybody wants to live longer, and they don't want to just be the number at the end of their tombstone. That's what they can do in that dash.
Well, here in Sixth Sense Recovery Studios, and pretty interesting story about how we ended up here.
Yeah.
Not normally podcasts. We have a sort of a structure where we go through and find people, but this one I would say kind of came by accident, actually, by the gentleman in front of me, Larry, who challenged me, didn't you, Larry?
I did. I had. We've been MyZone buddies for over 2 years now. I've been watching the Escape brand grow like mad, and just really wanted to get to know you. So I took the time and asked my friend John Murray from Advantage Sport and Fitness to introduce us. And I remember saying to you, I would really love you to try my recovery equipment if you ever had time.
Yeah.
So you want me to fast forward with this story?
Yeah, go on.
So I think it's like, it's a Sunday morning, October 20th, and I'll remember I got a text from you saying, hey, it's Matt, parentheses, Escape. I'd like to take you up on those recovery services if the offer's still good. So I called you back and I said, yes, but I told you I wanted to do it after you've had a few good workouts in a row. And you said, well, I haven't taken a day off and I don't know how long. I'm in MyZone challenge for the month of October with my brother. And I'm like, oh boy, this is good. So we set up an appointment, and it was fun to watch what happened after that.
Yeah.
So first thing I did was connect with Luke on MyZone so I could watch the challenge. And boy, you guys were really getting after it. And we set up an appointment for Thursday, and I called Gino and told him I had a special friend coming in to try. And then, it was fun watching it and watching your reaction to our recovery modality. Sixth Sense Fitness and Recovery has all kinds of great recovery, but selfishly, I wanted you to try the two. I wanted to admit that. I wanted you to try the two that we had sold them, so that we could, I wanted to see what your thought was.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at.
And you did probably, you looked into my numbers a little bit closer than what I did, but what were some of outside of me just sort of saying, well, I feel as though my legs are a little bit lighter, what was the difference in performance when you looked at my MyZone stats?
So I got a chance to follow it through the whole month. So the first 24 days of your working out, I got this pretty much nailed because I spent a little time on it over the weekend, because I started thinking, what is the truth? Like Gary Vaynerchuk always says, the truth is undefeated. So the first 24, you averaged 227 MEPs per day for the month, which is a real solid clip. And you're at 5,450 already on the 24th, and your brother was nipping at your heels, and I could tell you did not have any interest in second place in that contest. So that's what happened. We got you in on the 24th, and I was traveling on business in Nashville. That's where my friend Gino came in. You texted me and said, hey, can I get back in? Because I had asked you for feedback on how it was after the first one, and you said, well, I slept a lot better last night. I'm not sure. I'm not noticing anything. And then we got you in on that Monday night. I was in Nashville, and I called Gino, and he got you right in. And then I think we were exchanging texts that night, and you were like, ooh, I like this. Can I get back in tomorrow? So you had 3 sessions over the last week, and where you had averaged 227 MEPs over the first 24 days, the last week you averaged 426 MEPs. So it's an 87% increase in performance. And what I thought was kind of cool was that, that's when you're supposed to be tired at the end of the month, not getting a second wind, not going up, 87%. So I felt like it really did what the products say they're going to do. They help you recover quicker. They help you, deal with all the inflammation, all the oxidative stress, everything that's building up. So in my opinion, that was proof of concept. And then you also told me via text that you had a shoulder problem that had been aggravating you for about 6 months. And after the photobiomodulation therapy, or FitLit, you said, the pain was around a 9, and now it's at a 3, and it was really bothering me after that workout. So you're going to have to fill in. This is not a commercial for my stuff. This is a commercial for 6 Sense Fitness and Recovery, and but that's what I saw.
Yeah.
So, and I just said, hey, you got to tell this story because it was awesome. And at one point in time, you actually said you felt like, I don't want to get you in any trouble. You felt like you were cheating Luke.
Yeah, I know. When he hears this, he'll probably tell me that's why I won. So, yeah. So because I came in and I went on, it was a bit weird, and you try all these different products and fitness machines and stuff, and I was very skeptical when I came in, and even when I did the first session, I thought, okay, do I feel anything? Don't I feel anything? You never really know what's going on. But I kind of got into what I thought was like a big sunbed. So Gino, tell me what was actually going on when I went in there, because I had a choice of different programs as well, didn't I?
There's 15 different modes that it provides. Anything from energize, pre-workout, post-workout, detox, wedding night, whatever it may have. I think we threw you into the inflammation because you're probably inflamed from going through so many workouts back to back. So yeah, we got you in there. You laid in the bed, and it's a 15-minute session. And then what it does is the red light stimulates your mitochondria and helps produce more ATP, which is what you need obviously when you're trying to perform at the level that you are. And that helps recovery as well, because you need ATP to do anything in the body, as we know. So yeah, I put you in there for 15 minutes. We also threw you in the Balancer Pro, and yeah, you were loving it.
Yeah. So in terms of if you're an athlete, then why? Because I've not seen. I'm sure there's this has been around for a while, but is it a relatively new thing in terms of recovery? Like the compression and the light therapy. Is that relatively new in the world of sports and performance? Or?
Yeah, I would say so. I would say that recovery in general is new to sports, and it's we're seeing it everywhere, right, with compression in major league sports, and I've seen the photobiomodulation inside the Olympics now that they're using, but yeah, it's all relatively new, and a lot of the most elite athletes are using it.
Right. Okay. Mm-hmm. And what are you like outside of what I saw as results? Why would the typical sort of man or woman off the street want to get involved in something like that? And if they're not pushing their bodies that high, or is it mainly just for the sports?
I would say our general population that uses the gym loves it as much as the elite athletes that use it. Some of our memberships include that package, so they're using it often, and they love it. It not only helps them give them more like performance when they go do their workout. It helps them recover faster, and just their mood as well, or their energy levels. So even myself, if I'm feeling down, I'm feeling like I have low energy, I'll go jump in there, I'll press energize, I'll lay there, and it's kind of like a meditation at the same time, like a forced meditation. We don't usually get that much time in the day to just lay there for 15 minutes and just think to yourself. But yeah, you get out of there and you feel like renewed. I feel it's not like I just get it energized in the brain. I feel like an energy in my whole body, like I could just run through a wall.
Yeah.
It's amazing what it does, yeah.
And without going too much into the science, but so when you say it helps create ATP, is that right? Yeah. So how does all that work, and why is that important, or are we not able to do that naturally then?
Well, it happens naturally. Those light waves are naturally coming from the sun, but this is more focused, I would say. And the ATP part, what we're finding is that, or what the scientists are finding that have done all these studies, is that the plants in photosynthesis, they take the sun and turn it into energy, and they're finding that the human body does the same thing. Right. So the mitochondria are being the powerhouse of the cell, which create all of our ATP, are being stimulated by this light, by all these frequencies. All the 15 different modes have all these different frequencies that they work at. So as they hit the mitochondria, the light and the pulsing that the Fitlit does have, it does stimulate the mitochondria to produce more ATP.
Right. Mm-hmm. And is that why my shoulder, for example, which I weren't in there for, it was mainly my legs, is that why I probably sort of felt an easing or that of...
Because you need ATP to help recovery too. It's
Right.
not just to move. It's not just to talk or do whatever we think we're using for ATP. They're actually driving. ATP drives every process in the body. So those recovery processes are helping as well.
Right. So Sixth Sense then, because so obviously knew Larry and we connected and I came into this pretty impressive facility. So tell us a little bit about what happens here and why you created, I guess, what's a relatively different approach to a sort of a wellness center.
Yeah, so we take fitness and kind of look at it, I think, as like a broader spectrum of what you need to be fit. It's not just working out. It comes with your mindset, which involves sleep, meditation, and recovery, which is what we're really big on. So yeah, we move here. We'll work you out. We'll beat you up, but we're going to break you down, but we're going to build you up with our recovery as well. So yeah, everything from cryotherapy to infrared, regular saunas, percussion therapy we have our HyperIce tools, that you can use, to Larry's products that have been amazing, the Balancer Pro with our compression, and then the FitLit, which is my personal favorite thing that we have here. Yeah, so just kind of a one-stop shop to get your workout in, get your recovery in. You have all these facilities around that are like standalone cryos, standalone photobiomodulation, but you don't have a spot that's just got everything you want, And so time is money, so stay in one spot, get it all done,
What was the original idea about how to put all those different elements together? Had you seen other businesses doing that, or were you guys sort of one of the first that have been able to combine everything?
So we haven't. I've seen like Bulletproof Labs down in LA. Like they have a big recovery facility that kind of covers all those things. But we haven't seen anything that has a gym as well. Myself and Brian, Brian Sesma, who's kind of like the brain behind all this. His dream was just to get all the recovery, around the outskirts of the fitness facility. And what we did was, there's been modalities that have been brought in here and taken out over the last year of just like different ideas. So these are the ones that kind of stuck. They're the ones that we found that were most important. What we have now isn't going to be the only things we have forever. So we're constantly going to be adapting and changing to whatever the market, sees fit or what's working the best out there. So we think that what's out there right now we have, and then we're going to keep progressing and always changing.
What sort of people do you tend to get in this facility then?
That's the cool thing we've noticed is we were trying to like map down like, all right, what demographic are we? Who are we going to target? And it's been like 26-year-olds to like 55-year-olds. We don't really have that demographic. It's all, and that's a general population to professional athletes. So we're kind of catering to everybody really at this point. We have professional athletes coming in with their trainers, working out, using our recovery. We have the general population coming in, taking our classes, also using the same recovery, and they're all kind of finding the same results and same fascination with the facility. So it's been awesome.
In terms of, I guess, selling and marketing this as a story, have you found it's been fairly easy for people to understand that they need to recover, or is there an education there required?
I think that's been the hardest part is having people understand how important recovery is. That's why we offer every modality free to everybody first, let everybody try it. But once the members we do have now, professional athletes are different. They've been doing recovery, they understand it, they jump in it, they appreciate it, they love it. General population's been a little harder, but once we get them in there, it tends to just blow their mind. They're like, oh my God, I've never felt that. Or they come in with pain and maybe they just have a recovery day. And then we'll send them through, we'll put them in the Balancer Pro, we'll put them in the FitLit, I'll put them in cryo, and then finish them in the sauna, and they walk out of here like a new person. So once they go through the gamut of the recovery, then they understand, hey, this is important, I need to be a part of it. And our trainers as well, we like to focus on not just one metabolic pathway. If you go into other gyms, they do one sort of workout every time. We cross-train, we do a whole bunch of different things, different planes of motion, to try to get those different metabolic pathways work those different metabolic pathways so that you're not, because in daily life, you're not just working one way, So yeah, all those things working together, there's definitely been a big buzz about it, for sure.
Do you have, do you naturally match up certain types of recovery to certain types of training, or when you're working with a client, do you is there a place where you tend to start them off and expand? How does that journey work where you introduce people into stuff?
So I'll kind of tour them through, and I kind of get a feel for what they like. Everybody is different. Some people just won't even touch the cryo because they hate the cold.
Really?
Although I try to let them know that, like, if you do cryo, your body will adapt to cold and you'll be less cold throughout your normal life, So I try to convince them to do that type of stuff. But, I like to let everybody try everything once, and then whatever they like, they tend to gravitate towards themselves naturally. But yeah, I always have them go in the FitLit and the Decompress Balancer Pro, and I just really, those two I think are the biggest things that people use here, part of our packages. And then everybody kind of knows cryo, but they stay away from it. I don't know why. It's not as relaxing and comfortable.
Pain associated with it.
Yeah, it's not as
Ours is comfortable, non-invasive,
relaxing, yep.
and
forced meditation.
Parasympathetic.
If you will. Yes, exactly.
As opposed to the sympathetic.
And it takes less time than, say, like a 30-40 minute sauna session, something like that. But yeah, after workouts, people jump on the Balancer Pro, and that's usually their favorite. Just get that lactic acid out. It feels like a nice little massage. And then they like to jump in the FitLit for, like you said, parasympathetic. It feels like you're meditating,
To add on to what Gino said, because out in the general marketplace, I'm also spending a lot of time with athletes. I did the Major League Baseball trade show down in San Diego a few weeks ago. And then I've been in the fitness industry for over 30 years, and I love the fitness industry, and I know a lot of people, but it is so much more obvious, so much more quickly with the athletes who it's getting so competitive, and there's so much money involved, and there's such an edge. We have agents looking for everything they can do to get their athletes on the field. We had a general manager for one Major League Baseball team who literally said, he goes, hey, I had more money that our team was spending on the disabled list this last year than we ever have had before. I have to help these guys do more active recovery. I have to have more stuff to do this. So it's just real obvious. It's a glaring need. I think over on fitness, I think customers' expectations, whether I've listened to you have Dr. Rick Ritchie from Recovery in New York or whatever, customers' expectations are really growing around recovery. They want the best trainers that they work with to make sure they help them get the results all the way, not just tear everything down. So I think it's a little slower over in fitness, but I think it's absolutely steady, and I think it's getting there, and that's why part of my job trying to grow this business from start at this chapter in my life is to try to get raving fans from someone like you who's training real hard and knows. So that's guilty. That's what I was trying to do, and I've been trying it with a few other people. So it does absolutely work, and it is something that if you spend a little time, it was just 3 hours of your time for those 3 sessions over here, and I don't think you hated every minute of it. And then the results went up 87% over the last 6 days, and your brother's wondering how you turned the jets on and he couldn't catch you.
Yeah. So what's this? Would you say then this is a sort of a new category that's parallel to traditional fitness, and is that how you would explain it, like in terms of what you guys are doing? And there's I guess there's products now that are coming into this. Is recovery a category of its own, would you say? What's your thoughts on that?
I don't know if it's a category. I mean, I feel like it's happening, and it has been happening. Like, you have your fitness, but now you have all these recovery studios popping up everywhere. And I think putting it all under one roof is a new idea, and is going to be important going forward. But yeah, it's definitely important, and I think it kind of has been there. Cold baths and rolling out and all that stuff. But now just dedicating more time, or maybe taking time off and not overtraining, taking a full recovery day. Those are kind of becoming as important as a full day of training, So I think just understanding that it's definitely becoming more paramount.
And as it from a business opportunity then, I guess recovery was probably the day when you didn't go to the gym. Is recovery a business opportunity for people to come in and spend money? Is that, would you say that's also part of it from a commercial perspective?
Yeah, I think it's from taking the workout all the way through to the next workout, and to make sure you got the return on your investment from that great workout. You know, it's funny, your original question on this as a category, all I can say is in the 30 years I've been in this industry, my very first job, my second year of college, was in like one of the first Nautilus circuits in upstate New York. So we're going way back in the early 80s. Geez, I think we're 35 years now. But, you know, the only thing I know is over the years, I watched the Life Cycle come out. I watched the Stairmaster 4000. I was fortunate enough to be at Precor when we got the elliptical and changed the game that way. And I've watched what you've done in the functional training category. The only constant has been change. There's always something new that people want. In and of itself, exercise, there's a lot of different ways to do it. And I think people are always looking for something new to get better results or to keep from being bored, whatever. So I think it is a necessary iteration for the best clubs going forward. I think you've seen more and more top models trying to focus on recovery. We're working with one model right now that there's a wearable that actually gives all of their folks a recovery score and directs them the next day whether they're going to go do something really challenging again, something middle of the road, or if they should focus maybe more on recovery. So, and it's very, very smart app. You don't let yourself get stressed into your day. You get that reading like the first 2 minutes you're awake. So yeah, I think more and more, I think people want to work out smarter and they want to get the best results, and then they want to avoid the pain or the injuries. And as you get older, that's all I'll tell you. I get more injuries doing the same workout now than I would have 15 years ago. And it was 15 years ago, that was how it was 15 years before that. It takes me so long to recover from an injury now without some of these tools. But boy, I can't believe how much better I bounced back with the Balancer Pro and the Fitlet. So.
I know I've read there's the, is it Whoop and Aura Ring where they kind of measure. Have you tried any of those?
I haven't tried those ones. No, I have the sleep app with like Apple, so I track my sleep with that. But I like the Aura Ring. It shows your readiness and that. Yeah. And I followed Joe Rogan doing his thing with his Sober October using the Whoop, and they give you recovery scores and stuff, kind of like what he was talking about.
I'm playing with 3 of them right now. And by the way, I remembered out in the car, I brought Superhuman by Dave Asprey as a little Christmas gift to you, because I thought it might be something that you'd enjoy. You know, I think deep down, Dave Asprey is best known for 2 things: bulletproof coffee, and then of course, biohacking. He coined that term. And I think we're all biohackers in our own right, and how do we do things smarter and how do we evolve? Charles Darwin said that those that evolve aren't the smartest or the strongest, there's those who adapt best to change, right? So I've been playing around with some of the wearables because they help me learn myself better, and they help me prescribe the best self-care for me that I'm trying to do with these things. And how I landed with these 2 products, my partner and I, we were just like, we couldn't believe how underserved these were to the market with which we feel like we could go. And then of course, it is a fair amount easier with athletes right now than it is over in the fitness industry. But I love both of them, and it's just like anything. I've been selling to a lot of different constituents over the years, and you know, one of them you do in a crock pot and another one you do in a microwave. So, you know, some of them will go faster or slower. But anyway, yeah, and if you want to try any of these apps, I would easily recommend it, because I encourage you to look into Superhuman and some of the biohacking ideas out there, because they'll help you enjoy that family of yours a lot longer.
What are some of the apps that you've been using? Are they to tell you when you're recovered? Is that yeah.
So I bought Whoop. I haven't tried it yet.
Okay.
I'm trying another one that is part of a a big model that we're doing, and I'll talk about it a little offline, but it's pretty cool. And then the Oura Ring, I just ordered one of those online because that's something that Dave Asprey talks about a lot.
Yeah. How are you guiding people into what they should do and when? Because I even when I did this mini challenge thing, it's always difficult to know. Well, do you feel okay? Don't you feel okay? Should you really be pushing yourself?
Yeah.
How would you, in part of your program, be guiding people on that front?
Just trying to listen to your own body, really. I mean, everybody's different. That's hard to like give one answer for everybody. But you know, some days you just don't feel like you could give it all. Maybe that's the day you should take a break. We always tell our clients like, just listen to your body. You know, as far as when to eat. You know, as far as when to, like how long you should be sleeping. If you didn't get great sleep, then maybe don't go as hard that day. Yeah, there's a whole host of different things just to pay attention to. You know, if you're not feeling it, I think it's just that general intuition that you need to give that power to your clients so that they know that they're understanding their own body and they know when to do it. I think the most important part of a trainer is to pass off the information and the knowledge to the client so that they don't need you anymore, you know? So just giving them those tools and giving them like the workouts to do and the recovery to do, but also letting them, you know, feel their own body and know like what to eat, when to eat it, you know, when to take a break, when to really push themselves, you know? So it's kind of hard to answer, but yeah, I would say just everybody's different. And just take at least, you know, if you're working out 5 days a week hard, you got to like separate those out, you know, and take that full day off. Or, you know, for Sunday, go on a hike, you know, go walk on the beach, go take that day to rest or just move your body, but don't move it differently and watch your like your output level, you know.
You talked about that parasympathetic. Explain that to me. Is that putting yourself in a different state to what you would do when you're normally working out? Yeah,
like the sympathetic state would be you working out and you driving your body like that. Parasympathetic would be the rest and digest. You know, when you're letting your body use all those like anabolic phases to rebuild your muscle, to recover from all the things that you did just do, as opposed to just keep on putting yourself in a sympathetic state. That's where you could find yourself overtraining and pushing yourself too far. That's where you find yourself not sleeping right and not recovering right. So yeah, that parasympathetic state is really important to get into. Not just when you're sleeping, but you know, during like, you know, the Fitlet or the Balancer Pro while you're laying in there, you'll get that parasympathetic feeling, and you know what it feels like when you're in it. You know, you're relaxed. You feel like, I just want to lay here a little longer, maybe close my eyes. And it's like, it's important to understand that that's okay to feel, you know. So many people are like, I'm being lazy or something like that. But now it's more and more, we're finding how important it is.
In addition to some of the neat tools, and there's a lot of them you can get out there, tracking your own sleep and monitoring that and doing whatever you can to improve the quality of your sleep. There's 2 types of sleep. That's as important as you can do for your own recovery as anything. And that was one of the things I noticed in your comments where you said, I find myself sleeping better. Yeah. You know, that was it. So I do think to a certain extent, there's something in the photobio where you really get into a neat, relaxed state in there. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, you're just a little happier, a little more positive, and you rest a little better. Where we've had problems is, you know, we've got this great unit here where I've brought a lot of great clients to see in Costa Mesa, but if they only try it once or twice, right, you would really miss a lot of the benefits if you didn't try that 5 times. That's why I really felt like the difference between the first time and the second time is fairly significant, but by the third time in 5 days like you did, I think you really noticed some of the benefits. So you're welcome here anytime. Yeah.
And with the stress then, do you think when we're in the, so as well as training and you put yourself in the sympathetic, what do you call it, state, is that what's happening in your daily lives as well then? So are we sort of spending a lot of time in that particular state, and is that what some of this recovery is doing?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the biggest problems going on right now, especially with phones and ads and everything going on. We're constantly stimulated. You know, like now you see little kids 2 years old with iPads that are being stimulated. You know, and it just seems like it never ends now. You go home, you watch TV. You know, got all the blue light going. That's also stimulating you. I just feel like the stimulation never ends, and if we could take any time to get into that parasympathetic state, then by all means run towards it.
How long does it take to switch? Is there any research on what's required in a day or an amount of time? Or
I don't know any research. I know that in the Fitlit, it takes for the first 8 minutes, I'm kind of laying there, and I got a lot of things running around in my mind. And usually always at this 8-minute mark, I just zone out and I'm just meditating. It's amazing. And also I do this thing called the float tank, the deprivation tank. You know, have you heard of it?
No.
So it's about 1.5 feet of water with magnesium salt. So you're floating in there. It's completely dark. It's completely quiet. You can't hear anything. You can't see anything. So you're laying there. So you have no sensory input from your body. And so your brain just kind of goes wild. And it's like you have full control of your brain. It's like forced meditation, same as the Fitlit a little bit, but you're in there for like 1.5 hours. And also the magnesium salt's relaxing you, and it's just it's a crazy experience. So, or meditating, like anything like that, I like to go for like as much as possible.
Yeah. What's been the uptake around this area then for people that have probably not, because I guess you're trying to sell something that no one's really seen or no one knows that they actually need. What's been your sort of, from a commercial perspective, has it been quite easy to get people to everything?
It's just letting them use it.
Yeah.
Like that's the only, I could speak about it as much as I want, but people just hear words and then you just got to get them in there. And then when we're here, it's cool because we see the light, we see the red light up there, we know they're going through their experience. And then once they open that door, we like, how is it? And you can just see a smile on their face, or they see like, whoa, like everybody's different walking out of there. So yeah, the consistency of it and just getting them to try it is, I think, number one. Yeah. To make this more mainstream, what do you think needs to happen? Was there more people coming into the space and telling that story? Because I guess sometimes in any kind of innovation, you can almost be a little bit too far ahead of the curve for people to realise. You know, what's your how does this get out to more people? Is it really just for the sort of developing cities initially? How do you see that sort of emerging? Maybe to you, Larry. You've been in the business for a while.
Well, I would say that the most important thing is I always remind myself how good these products are and how good they feel and how they always leave someone in a better spot than they would have been if they hadn't done it. So that helps me a lot. And then it's just a matter of, look, working out tears things down. And I don't know anybody who recovers at the same rate now that they did 5 years ago. And then I think almost everybody's working out harder than they ever have. I mean, there's all these apps, there's all these cool things, there's all these great studios, all these different workouts. There's no shortage of options, but people are almost overtraining. I think they'll tell you that the amount of money spent on, needed surgeries because people have overtrained is really going up significantly. So I just believe in the products and, education right now, from what I've seen, our two products, they have been out in the marketplace in some form in different parts, maybe more medical or maybe a little more on the wellness side, but for 30 plus years. So I think it's just a matter of trying to raise the awareness and let the right people try it. And that's why I was like, you're not the only one that I've done it with, and I think we've seen a lot of really, really exceptional results. And over on the sports side, we have some top athletes that just instantly like, wow, this is amazing. And that's what keeps it going. I mean, we get a quick sale here, quick sale there, and keep everything going. But over on fitness, maybe it's just me. I know so many of the great models in the fitness side, whether it's the big box, whether it's the low cost, everything in the middle, the studios, I think you've got a lot of exceptional trainers that have some great clients they care so much about. And I think this is the way to really help them get better results and to keep their clients retained, you know, because they're going to get better results, they'll recover quicker. Working out is just as fun as can be when you recover right away and you recover properly. I think that's when it's at its best. How about on your side? What are you seeing?
As far as people coming in and like adapting these certain types of modalities, like he said, I think it's just educating the public and time. I know you say it's like been around 30 years, but like you said, it's been in the recovery and like the wellness and medical industry. So bringing that into the fitness thing, which is new, I think is, and just having people seeing it, doing podcasts like this about it, for example, we recovered the Corona Del Mar football team who just won state. They were undefeated the whole season, which was really cool. Had a bunch of players go to like Stanford, Washington, and the kid from Stanford, their best player, he injured his hamstring, and he heard his mom looked online, oh, what can heal me the fastest or whatever, and it was photobiomodulation. He's like, oh, I know who has one of those. So he contacted us. He came here, and like the week before state, he was using the photobiomodulation, Balancer Pro, all the other things we have, cryo, sauna, and he was good to go by game day, and they ended up winning with him being the star. So yeah, it's just that it's online now, it's out there, you know, it's starting to populate. So I think just time. I think now is the right time for us in a facility like us, where the general population is starting to adapt these new ideas. And I don't think it's everywhere in the U.S. It's obviously in like Southern California, you know, Florida, New York, those types of places where these things tend to hit first. But once it hits in those places, then it tends to spread everywhere. So I think just time, you know, another year or two, it's going to be just commonplace to know what photobiomodulation is. Yeah.
What would you guys see in the next few years, this being, how would it look like in general fitness? Is it something that you would have a lot of the people doing, and you go into a room and you go into cryo or photobiome or sort of, how do you think it will evolve in terms of it being part of the fitness space? Like, have you got any thoughts on what these spaces could look like? Are they standalone? Are they integrated? You go in and you pay $20 and have one at the end of your workout or something?
I'm a big fan of the tier model, where you pay a premium dollar maybe that has the ability to have your trainer be able to offer whatever recovery modalities you want, and everything is covered there. And then you've got a little lesser tier, and then you've got a lower tier if you just want fitness only and you don't want to talk to anybody and you don't want a fitness professional to help guide you and get the most out of your results if you're completely self-starter and want to do it that way. So I like that tier, because I think people tend to overthink things when it becomes a matter of, you know, the dollar versus what are you really trying to accomplish. I mean, I know a lot of people that could probably end up at the end of their life, they maybe had 2 years less of play span, not lifespan, 2 years less of play span, but they saved a little more money, you know? So at the end of the day, what are you really trying to accomplish? And then I think with the right recovery tools, the right trainer, the right facility, you can absolutely get them to that goal. So I'd like to see someone focused on that. The thing is look, all the trends, this is rising. This is way more relevant than it was 3 months ago, and 3 months ago it was way more relevant than it was 3 months before that. It's kind of like you watch functional training rise like nobody. And I think early on it was like, boom, you know, it's like I like talking to some of the other great industry people in the Industry Hall of Fame. You know, our friends at MyZone who facilitated this whole conversation, they talk about how they were essentially a 4-year overnight success. You know, it takes a little while. We just started this company this year, and these guys just opened right around Labor Day. So as far as that goes, you know, we're getting there. I mean, and like I say, the stuff works. Show me someone who's tried it, who's taken the time to do it and didn't get better results because of it. So I feel like it's going to get there. But I think like anything, we need some success stories, and just keep trying to have guys like you try it. So
what are some of the interesting stories that you've seen since you've been open that you didn't expect to see with this concept?
Well, we bring the compression to the Balancer Pro to the football games, and that's like, so this is where I got kind of excited, because we would go only to their home games, and at halftime we recover them. We put the legs on them, and they lay there, and their coach is giving them their halftime speech. They're talking about what they're doing for the next half, and they're laying there getting the compression going, and then we get them out and they're back on the field, and they say they had fresh legs, this and that, and I'm like, cool, like awesome, but then we didn't do their away games, and they started begging us to do their away games because they had a big game coming up, and their legs like literally felt different in the second half. So knowing that like physical like difference that we made with these recovery modalities really like struck home to me. Not that I didn't like I don't believe in everything, but having them come reach out like, hey, we need you, please, that was real big for me. And just everybody coming over from Equinox or F45 and starting to come here, they just really feel that we care more because we have these things, and we're telling them to, hey, rest, recover. That it's really like ringing home to them that like, okay, like they care about me, and then them using it constantly is like, and giving that extra 40 minutes after their workout to go and sit in the Balancer Pro it's just like, it's definitely sends a message to me that like, all right, they believe in it, not only because like we're telling them that it works, but because they're feeling that it works. So, and all of our employees here, they could use everything they want, and they do, and we do. So we've all noticed a major difference. When I take 5 days off from here and I'm out, I feel a real difference from not having all these modalities. So that real physical difference has been the biggest drive for me.
And what's happening in the compression, and what's that actually doing to you?
So your body, metabolic waste, your body works hard and it creates the lactic acid. Go to lactic acid, makes your legs burn, whatever. Your lymphatic system doesn't have a natural pump in it. It relies on muscle contraction. So it relies on you moving around, which is what you're not doing after you work out. And so when you go sit in this Balancer Pro, it's got 24 chambers that are systematically basically wringing out all your blood fluids and getting them into that lymphatic system that's naturally going to filter all this lactic acid out. And then in turn, it brings more nutrients into those areas. So you're recovering faster and getting all that lactic acid out. So yeah, you're sitting there and you're facilitating that, and it would have happened anyways, but it might have taken a lot longer. So now tomorrow, if I do a big leg day, then I know I'm going to go jump into the Balancer Pro, and I'm going to be ready to go tomorrow for whatever I want, So I think being able to go as hard as I want the next day, even though I went hard today, is definitely a big advantage.
Are you, in terms of making this business work, are you in a particularly affluent area where people can pay for that here, or how would you describe the sort of area that you're in and the people that you're attracting?
Definitely an affluent area, yeah. Our base membership is $200. It's not cheap, but it's relative to the area. We're on par with Equinox, with the gym across the way, Chalk. We're on par with all those, but we do offer those recovery services. So yeah, it is a very affluent area, being Newport Beach. We've done all of our studies in the area, and we're in this location for a reason. When we do open up other spots, it's going to be in other affluent areas. And I just feel like these affluent areas, like Newport Beach, they have more people that are willing to and have more time to go outside of the box and look at these new things. They have the money to try these new things, So these are kind of where these new things can like propagate and start up.
Yeah. So with some of the recovery sessions, what are you charging that as part of the membership, or is that separate?
So yeah,
sessions?
for the first base package, you get your unlimited classes, open gym, and then you get certain discounts on everything, and then you also get the infrared sauna, and then the compression, the Balancer Pro included. And then as you go up from that to the 300, then you start to include the FitLit, photobiomodulation, and another one we have the Beamer, which is like an electromagnetic frequency to help drive blood deeper into your, at like the capillary level, deeper into your tissues. And then we have another one that he was kind of talking about, which is all encompassing. So you could use your cryo unlimited, everything unlimited.
Right.
And then we have it all broken down a la carte as well. So yeah, kind of like the tier system he was talking about. That's exactly what we have. One's more basic, and then it goes all the way up to unlimited everything.
How regularly should people, your average person, use some of these treatments? And are you trying to get people into doing each one once a week or more than that?
So the photobiomodulation, you could only do 3 times a week. So yeah, we recommend 3 times a week for that. Cryotherapy, you could do up to 2 times a day. Do that as much as possible. The infrared sauna as much as possible. The compression as much as possible as well. I like to recommend. It's hard to get somebody in there for 40 minutes, just that alone. So I like to get people in there 40 minutes after a workout if they have the time. Yeah, everything else is pretty much do it as much as you want, except the photobio. You can only do it every 48 hours.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Larry, how do you see in terms of the fitness space then? What do you see the areas are likely to pick this up? Where's your focus? Is it going to be on the big cities, the New Yorks, the LAs, and the big clubs, or where are you looking for people to probably take this on?
I wouldn't say it's completely geographical. Obviously, I live in SoCal, and I get a chance to see a lot of the models that are coming out here. No, I think it's any place that really is trying to offer the best experience in a competitive area, and one of the best ways they can differentiate for their trainers, if they have a great training department with personal training, one of the best ways they can differentiate is in recovery, because at the end of the day, this is so underserved out there. And I think anywhere where you really want to have great personal training revenue, then I think this has to be part of it with your clients in a competitive market. So, no, I'm just very bullish on the fitness space, very bullish on pro and even college athletics. And I think those are the best markets for us. But I wouldn't say geographical. Like I said, I'm doing a whole East Coast swing in a few weeks, and been up and down the West Coast, and was just in Texas 2 weeks ago. So Chicago, trade shows there, Nashville, we've been a lot of different places. I haven't seen any place they didn't want it. I just think it's a little, there's a lot of people looking into it, but no one's really gone hard at it yet, but we have been fortunate enough to be talking to several people that plan on, the next version of what they do. Their next 2.0 is going to have a lot more recovery in it than they had this last year. So that's what we're trying to be part of.
Who are the players and what are the products that you see? Obviously, you've got your own brand, but in terms of when people are looking at this space, who are the players and what are the things that people are starting to put in at the moment? Like I guess cryo's probably one of the most popular ones. Is that right? Is that what generally people are going to first? Or?
That's been my experience. I don't see that it gets a 100% adoption rate. I think men, as a rule, from what I've seen, seem to be using it far more than women. I think there are a few sadistic people that really like that all the time, but it's fairly hardcore. But it is short and it does work. I mean, there's no question it works. But I'd say cryo's become quite popular. I think there's another version of compression different than ours that's popular. You see it a lot of places, Normatec.
And that's where
percussion.
you sit in it as opposed to it just massaging. Yeah, is that right?
Yeah, it's significantly different than ours, but it will do some of the same stuff. And then percussion has really taken off, I'd say, over the last few
What's
years.
that one?
Whether it's Theragun,
Right.
you guys did a great podcast with them, and they have Hypervolt here.
The Hypervolt with Hyperice, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, that's quite popular. And then, boy, it seems like in the fitness category, the massage lounges or massage beds, Hydra Massage, Human Touch, some other ones have gotten very popular out there. I know that's one of the main draws of the whole more expensive tier at Planet Fitness.
Yeah, I've seen a low cost spring in some of those
what they've got
massage.
in that, yeah.
And what do you, with those, are they kind of gimmicky, or is that, what would you say, without sort of saying anything, I guess, negative, but are they genuinely doing anything for you compared to some of these newer technologies, or is it more of a...
You know, I don't know that I would say I'm 100% qualified to say that. I certainly believe ours are more effective, but I think theirs are for a different constituency too. There's a different type of person in a Planet Fitness than there would be in a Sixth Sense Fitness and Recovery. I never see anybody hating to do it, that's for sure, but you know, I don't know. I don't know that, it'd be interesting next time you get in a My Zone Challenge, see if you notice anything there, what the difference is. Have you ever tried them, Gino?
The Hydro Massage?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've tried it. I mean, a massage is always nice, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's not.
But I don't know if it's necessarily going to get rid of my shoulder pain. What I like is like those, you know, like the Theragun or the Hypervolt, which what we have, and you work in an area for a while, spend a lot of time there. It's not going to be comfortable, but after you get out of there, you see people and they're just like, oh. You know, we'll go to golf events and we'll set up our tent, and we'll bring the Balancer Pro and we'll have them get in there, and we'll also have our Hypervolts, and like, oh, what hurts? Boom, I could go right to that area, and you just see everybody walking around like, oh my God. And that's the thing with people is they want that instant gratification, and that's definitely something that can offer that like right away. But like that parasympathetic state, getting you into that relaxing mode, I think the Hydro Massage definitely could help you, like in some of those areas. But if you're looking to get like some muscle recovery and you have some real problems, then you're gonna really have to dig in there and be like very local about it.
Are you seeing any companies almost like consulting in terms of recovery, or is it still very much based around the brands that have, like yourself, that have got some products, or is there people in there that say, right, you know, this is how to set out your whole kind of recovery concept? What are you seeing happening in the space?
I think that what we've seen is we will get a great relationship with somebody who wants to do something, but we don't have everything they're looking for, and we don't believe that that's necessarily the smartest way to grow pre-post fit. It's like, hey, find a few that we know do really well. So there's some great collaboration we have with other people in the space. It's interesting. Just had a great conversation at the Major League Baseball trade show with a great guy from Power Plate. And you know, there was a lot of things I didn't realize that they do around recovery, and they've got a great footprint out there. They've been in business 15 years longer than me. So I listened to what he had to say, and on one of the projects I'm working on right now, I'm definitely gonna make a point of adding that into the mix. So I wouldn't say, it's still new enough that we don't know. It reminds me of Precor when I first started there in 1997. You know, we had the Precor elliptical and a treadmill, and that was it. There was nothing else, not any of these solutions, and I think it's gonna grow and it's gonna iterate, but I think it's gonna be driven by what matters to the customer and what matters to their members. I'm a B2B guy. I will work on supporting everything. I'm not gonna try to be Nike, sell to every consumer, you know, so we'll try to support it. But there's a lot of great best practices out there. There's not a single one of these recovery studios that opens up, whether it's Upgrade Labs up in Santa Monica, or they're one at Beverly Hilton, or new ones down in San Diego, or new ones that are medical sponsored up in LA, that I don't go check out all of them and try to learn what I can, because there's a lot of great best practices. And then I do think, as anyone who's been in marketing or sales as long as I have, you really want to follow the herd. what's the simplest way to get a smile on a customer's face and to get them to want to come back and to get the solution they're looking for. I do know this, as you look around, everybody wants to live longer, and they don't want to just be the number at the end of their tombstone. That's what they can do in that dash. Are they able to play longer? Are they able to keep doing the things they do? And then athletes, they know, they look at the scoreboard every day. So how are they doing versus their personal best and what they think they can be? And then I think there's a lot of people that just really enjoy working out, and they don't enjoy getting older and being a lesser version of themselves in 2020 versus 2019, right? Mm-hmm. So,
how did you, Gino, when you guys put this together, how did you decide what was right for your concept?
As far as what we're putting in here?
Yeah.
Just looking in the market, just looking at what was around us, what was working. So we see a lot of cryo spots open. We all liked cryo, so that was definitely one. Sauna is definitely a big one. It's been around a really long time, and it's been proven. And then, we had the hydro massage and for a while, and we ended up taking that out. We've played, we want to get the hyperbaric chamber in here, so we've been playing with that. So it's just a lot of trial and error, bringing things in and out. They came in with the FitLit, the photobiomodulation, and that was wow, all right, let's get this in here. So, opening a facility like this, you have a lot of people coming to you, showing their products. So turned a lot away, brought a lot in, vetted a lot of things out. Brian, he got the Theragun, he got the Hypervolt, he got all the different modalities in that realm of percussion, tried them all out, and then kept what we liked the best. So kind of everything we've had has been kind of tested. We got it, tested it, made sure it worked and it was good on the market and all that good stuff, and then we brought it in. So a lot of vetting it out over a couple years. So yeah, this is where we're at. Like I said, that's not where we're going to stay, because we're still vetting things out. We're still working towards always changing and adapting, like he said with Darwin and stuff.
So what's the next phase for Sixth Sense? Are you guys going to open more studios, do you think?
Yeah. So we just we're getting this one off the ground, obviously. So once this one becomes what we want it to be, then we're looking to open up. And I think we've looked in Beverly Hills, Manhattan Beach, La Jolla, certain places like that down here in Southern California. But we'd love to expand for sure. Yeah.
What would you say is one of the things that you probably realize now that was different to when you originally started opening?
What our demographic was going to be. Yeah, we thought it was going to be 50s and up, just super affluent people. But now we have 26-year-olds in here that that are spending money that they, not that they don't have, but it's not money that our 50-year-old clients have that just it's nothing to them. It's literally money that they need, they care about, and they're spending it on us. So it's really cool seeing that, and the younger generations, they've been around this recovery. They're the easiest to explain it to, because they already know. They just don't have the money as much, So yeah, I think the demographic is don't discount those people is the main thing that we're gonna go forward with for sure.
Yeah. So Larry, if people are interested in finding more information about your products, where can they go? What would you, and you've obviously been in the industry and new to this category, what other sort of advice would you give people that are considering doing something in this space?
Prepostfit.com, no spaces. My email is larry@prepostfit.com. Love to talk about the fitness industry, love to find out about their model and any type of customized solution that might work for their model. That's the one thing. There's a lot of questions you've got to ask before you worry about what their culture is. Culture eats strategy for breakfast, right? So it's not a matter of dropping a product in there in order to help them be more successful, but we've got some tremendous data if that's going to help them. If part of the decision, I generally ask people early on, are you one of those people that wants to dive into the data, or you want to talk about your business model, or you want to talk about other successes, whatever is going to matter to them, we'll get the right buyer's journey for them. But that's what I would say. I'm very bullish on recovery helping basically every trainer, every sports performance coach get better results for their clients. I just think it's tremendous. And I would have to say I'm a huge proponent of the two we sell. I mean, we really believe in them and think they're great, but they're not the only ones out there. There's a lot of great stuff going on and a lot of very well-funded, cool companies that I get very jealous of when I see their big booths, and they've been around a lot longer at some of the trade shows. But we're gonna just keep grinding along, and we believe ours are great, and we just need people to try them.
Yeah. And in terms of education, is there much education in terms of how to use and understand and explain what some of this new technology does?
Yeah. We've got some nice stuff on it. We're building a few things to help make it easier. The great news about ours, once you teach the trainer, right, Gino, once they get everything, it's not like it's a high touch, you have to tie an employee up the whole time that it's going on, right? You can get everybody set up on their way and then go back to doing whatever you're doing. So these are very powerful recovery tools that require really only a little bit of initiation early on with each client, and then some pretty strong training early on with the staff. But they know how to run it themselves, and they know how to run it in their industry. And listen to him. He's become an expert over the few years, the few months we've been together. I've known you almost 6 months now, but he's always learning. Their staff here just asks so many great questions, and they're always trying it and using it and doing their own biohacking. So.
Yeah.
Have you just got a really good team that's interested in that? Like, I suppose most trainers that come into the space, is it all new for them where they're going to have to go and learn about?
Yeah, the one major thing that we have is just everybody's willingness to learn, and that's something we need when we hire somebody, and everybody's just driven. We have a LMS that we've created. Aubrey, our great fitness manager here, and we've all sat around and came up with these learning management systems, and all the new employees just go through it, and we give them quizzes and tests on them, and they're passing with flying colors, and just like he said, asking more and more questions. Just devoted to learning more and more, because there always is more to learn. So that's definitely something we require as new employees.
Yeah. Have you found any sort of resources in this space, or podcasts, or experts that you've found of sharing some good information at the moment?
As far as biohacking, I would say Ben Greenfield or Dr. Rhonda Patrick. Joe Rogan has introduced me to both of them. Those two for sure. I dive deep in. Ben Greenfield's like on the fringe of fringes when it comes to biohacking. So take what he does with a grain of salt, of course, but no, he's well educated, and I've learned a lot from him for sure.
Yeah. Okay, great. And final question then to you, Gino. When I came in, I was telling you about my sort of mini challenge, and you sort of explained to me about how you were using this in a lot of your training. Escape your limits is about escaping your own personal limits. What would be an example of you escaping your own personal limits in either in your career or your performance or as an athlete?
As an athlete, I would say escaping my limits is away from this whole fitness realm. Escaping for me is getting out of the society, getting out of the normal everyday go around, which we all seem to get stuck in so heavily. I like to travel, so I'll literally put everything away, and I've done it a couple times where I just take off for like 4 months, and I'll just go live in hostels in third world countries, and I've learned so much about myself and life back here, out there. That's me escaping the limits that have been built up for me here. It's hard. It's been real hard to break away, I'll tell you, but breaking away from that has brought so much clarity to me back here, and that's how I came here. I got the call to get this job when I was in Cambodia on Koh Rong, a little island, and I took the job. Continued traveling. I was an intern here. That's the job I took at the beginning. So yeah, that it clears my mind to get away from all the social stresses and the limitations that society does put on you, and going out there and just relieving all that, getting a clear head, and knowing what I want to do when I come back, and that was the fitness industry, and just going full force on it. So yeah, and all the modalities we have I'm escaping limits every day, so.
Fantastic. And Larry, to you, you've been in the industry for a while, and you've probably seen a lot of different changes. What in terms of escaping your limits, and I know you're going on a new sort of adventure now with your new business, but what would be an example of probably you at your stage now escaping your own limits, and what have you learned from I guess the various sort of iterations and things that have come along in the industry?
So as I looked back at my years in the industry, we always did this every year when we were trying to reinvent our sales team at some of the companies I was with. We would do a stop, a start, and a continue, right? So what did we do that hasn't been working so well? That's the stuff you want to stop. What are we not doing right now? Maybe there's a new trend. Maybe there's something that we did that caused us to lose some things the prior year or whatever. And so maybe you do a start. What are the new things you're going to start? And then what are you going to continue to do? The one thing I knew, escaping my limits, as I was trying to basically reinvent myself around the market in 2019, where it's different than maybe where I was VP sales of a company that grew really, really well. But 10 years ago, I mean, my goodness, the first iPhone had barely come out, right? So I try to make sure everything's relevant to the time, and then you really think about a lot of the best successes we ever had. They were really in meaningful conversations with customers, and you were essentially a Sherpa helping them climb the mountain of what they wanted to do. So where did they want to go with their business? And I just think it's like, I've had so much fun since we did our go-to-market at SciBac in September and some of the other shows, and we were fortunate enough to get in with Rex Roundtables and to talk with some of the great operators in the US that I've been working with anyway. And it's just such a fun time to be in the industry. And then I go back to remembering how much fun it was. It was not easy. People didn't buy that Precor elliptical right away the first time you started telling them about it, but it's like fun. So you're just getting that belief and reinventing something you really believe in an industry that you love, that you've known a long time, and you can add a lot of value. There's a lot to be said for 30 plus years of history. Success has left clues, failure has left clues, and it's just fun. And my favorite thing about this industry all along, I wasn't necessarily the best athlete, but boy, I loved sports and I loved competition. And there's always a scoreboard. You can always see if you're winning or losing or how you're doing. So that's my chapter at the end of 2019. So.
Well, fantastic. Well, it's an exciting category. I'm going to be fascinated to sort of see what happens and how this grows. And I wish you both a lot of success in your businesses. So thanks very much, Gino.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you, Larry.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, then please go over to iTunes and subscribe to the Escape Your Limits podcast. Leave a review, leave a comment. It really would help us a lot to continue to keep these going.